Welcome everyone to the part 2 of data cleaning outline. So in this video, we will see how to handle missing values. So there are two methods. The first one is drop. In this method, we drop all of the missing values, but it's not a good approach in general. We drop the missing values when we have a low percentage of missing values in the whole dataset. The second approach is to fill the missing values. We do it through the process of imputation or interpolation. It means that we fill the missing values using the mean, median, or mode values according to the other observations in the whole dataset. Now let's move forward. Let's implement. I will open Jupyter Notebook. Now, first of all, I will open the folder and then I will create a new notebook. First of all, let's change the name of notebook. Data Cleaning Part 2. Rename. At first, I will use a markdown. Import libraries. Run. Then I will import the required libraries such as numpy. Import pandas as PD. Then run it. Now I will use another markdown. Read CSV. Then run it. Now I will read the file by using pd.readcsv command. Data.csv sep equals to comma. Let's run it. Now I will say cars.head. All right, so we have these columns. Now, first of all, I will print some info, cars.info, to see a summary. So we have 3 floats, 5 integers, and 8 objects. Now let's move forward. I will see the null values. The null values in dataset are print cars.isNull.sum. So sum method will sum all of the null values in each column. As we can see here that we have 3 null values in engine fuel type and 69 null values in engine horsepower and 3,742 null values in market category. That's huge. Now let's suppose if you want to calculate the percentage of missing values in each of the column of datasets, then you will say print the percentage of missing values are print cars.isNull.sum multiply by 100 and divided by length of cars. Now let's print it. All right, this doesn't look much visually appealing, so I will round off the values by 2. It looks good now. As we can see here that the market category has 31.41% of the missing values, and number of those has 0.05 and so on. Now let's suppose if you want to calculate the sum of all of the missing values in each column, then you will say print cars dot is null dot sum multiplied by 100 divided by length of cars. So you just have to add one more thing here, which is dot sum. So this another sum will sum the values of each column. It's 32.31%. Now let's move forward to the first method of handling the missing values, which is draw. So it's quite simple. We use this approach when we have only a small percentage of the missing values in the whole dataset. But right now, we have a lot of missing values. So we will just write this code so that you can learn it. Cars equals to cars dot drop na axis equals to 0. Now let's see if there are any missing values in the cars dataset or not. Is null dot sum dot sum. See, we have 0% of the missing values. Now let's move forward to the next method, markdown. Handle missing values by filling them. But first of all, we have to comment this code and restart the kernel. All right. So you might be wondering that when to use mean, median, or mode to fill the missing values. So first thing is categorical. We use mode when we have categorical values inside the column. And we use mean and median when we have numerical values inside a column. So when to use mean and when to use median in case of numerical values. So mean is used when we don't have outliers. So far, you don't have to worry about this term because we have a separate outline on outliers. But for now, you must know that outliers are extreme or abnormal values in the dataset. For instance, you have a list of values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have no outlier in the list. That's why the mean is 3 and median is 3. It means we can use the mean. We use median when we have presence of outliers in the dataset. Let's have a look at an example. we have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 100. Now, as you can see that the mean is 22 and the median is 3. It's because of the presence of outliers. So in this case, it's best to use the median. Now let's move back to the notebook. So first of all, we have a simple approach to fill the null data with the zero values. Fill data. So first of all, we have the most simplest approach, which is to fill the null data with zero values. So I will say cars equals to cars dot fill NA with 0 and then run it. Let's copy this function once again to see if we have null data or not. See, the null data is filled with the value of 0. Now suppose here that you want to change the format of the columns. For instance, you have engine cylinders and number of doors in the float values, which actually should be an integer. So let's see how to change the format of the columns. I will say cars number of doors equals to cars number of doors dot as type int, and we have the column of engine cylinders. So I will write once again cars engine cylinders equals to cars engine cylinders dot as type int. So as type and then the value here is used to convert. As we want to convert the column into an integer, that's why we wrote int. Now let's run it. Let's use cars.info to see if the value of the columns are changed or not. So we have engine cylinders here, and we have number of doors here. Both of them are converted to integers. You can also use the method of cars.head. As you can see here, it's changed. Similarly, if you want to change a column into a float, then you write here float. Let's commit it. And restart the kernel. Now, as I can see that first of all, we have the missing values in engine fuel type. So as I can see that the fuel type is a categorical column, which contains strings. So I will replace the values with the mode. Cars, engine, fuel type equals to cars dot engine fuel type dot fill NA. So this method fills the missing value. Now I want to fill the missing values in engine fuel type with the mode of cars engine fuel type dot mode. Now let's run it. Now I will make sure if there are still no values in engine fuel type column or not. Cars dot is null dot sum. Ta-da! As you can see here that now engine fuel type has 0 null values. Now we will move towards engine HP. So let's see. Engine HP is a float column. So we will use median. Cars engine HP equals cars engine HP dot fill NA cars engine HP dot mode. Now I will make sure if it has still no values or not. They are removed. Next we have engine cylinders. Cars engine cylinders equals cars engine cylinders dot fill NA cars engine cylinders dot median. We have made a little mistake. As we know that engine cylinders and engine HP both are numerical values. So we will use median. And also here. Now let's run it. Cars dot is null dot sum. All right. Next we have number of doors. This is also another float column. Cars number of doors equals cars number of doors dot fill NA with cars number of doors dot median. Now let's make sure cars dot is null dot sum. All right. So next we have market category. So it depends on us to drop all of the values of market category or to do some exploratory data analysis at first and then decide whether we should drop this column or do some imputation. Now let's see. Cars dot is null market category. All right. All right. So I don't see much correlation of market category with the missing values and other columns. So of course, it's a mistake of having so many missing values. So surely we will drop market category by using the keyword drop. Market category axis equals to columns. Let's run it. Now, I will make sure if there are still no values or not. Cars dot is null dot sum. Hence, it's clear that now our dataset is purely cleaned. It doesn't have any kind of missing values. Let's go back to our slides. So here is a little homework for you. And here is the link of the dataset. And here are some tasks. So first of all, you have to do some exploratory data analysis. Then you have to drop duplicated values. Then drop irrelevant columns. Then fill the missing values. So this is the end of this outline. Now good luck and see you next time.